Hi guys, Hugo here from Mortar Studio. I basically thought this would be a good video to do on how I make money from email marketing, since it might seem obvious to many, but just the other day I was talking to someone who was pretty confused about how this works. I figured I'd give it a quick rundown on what's involved and how I make it work myself. So in simple terms, I reach out to prospects on my client's behalf and nurture them until they get on a call with my client. I then charge a fixed fee, well, actually work on performance. In my instance, $300 for each call I book for my client. And, I've got a caveat, they've actually got to turn up to the call. It's not just they're booked into the calendar. And I guess the way even my granny would understand is that I basically package up the methods I use to generate leads for my own business and then offer that as a service to other B2B businesses. So first off, let's discuss picking the right market and addressing the big fat elephant in the room. So it's not a thing in the States, but it's something we have to think about in Europe. So what is GDPR? For those who don't know, it's a European law, it's passed by the EU, and it's the General Data Protection Regulation. So GDPR brings up a crucial point about legitimate interest, which for starters is why services such as cold email marketing for B2B would be a breach of GDPR. It would be far harder for a business to claim legitimate interest if challenged. However, in a B2B context, we can often justify our email campaigns under this legitimate interest, particularly if our communications are directly relevant to the business we're emailing and actually more specifically to the job well of that person we're emailing to. So this makes sticking to B2B just not safer, not just safer, but also far more profitable. Why? Because we can focus on businesses without getting tangled in the stricter consent requirements needed for B2B communications, where you need explicit agreements from consumers, even just to send an email. For example, when you buy clothes online, they will give you an option at checkout to be part of the newsletter for that consent. But that being said, they definitely still have a few creative ways of getting through to you. The amount of new letters and crap I have in my inbox, I don't know, but I guess probably, yeah. If I'm not an expert on this particular instance, but I guess you've always got to opt out. But yeah, still there's some sort of consent before you press purchase that you actually have to go through. But ensuring compliance with B2B, however, is still key. We must provide clear opt-out options and basically respect any responses we get from these receptants telling us to stop. And if they do that, we've got to go through with that. So in summary, by focusing on businesses, we go for a far bigger deal and basically streamline our compliance efforts, simplifying everything significantly. This is a screen grab from someone I emailed on a client's behalf. So for context, they were the head of health and safety and of the business I was targeting, and I was selling a fire safety subscription service. So under, you can see Darren, under GDPR, please remove your email from my list. So there's still definitely a lot of confusion about what is and isn't compliant. And when it comes to GDPR, however, in this instance, I can lawfully claim legitimate interest here. I'm selling a fire safety service, contacting the head of health and safety for a business. So, yeah, sorry, Darren, you got this one wrong here. But yeah, as I said, still a lot of confusion on this one. So, utilizing data sources. So now you're getting a broader understanding of what's entailed when it comes to B2B lead gen. We need to think about how we can get hold of those leads. So there's a ton of data sources online. However, my go-to are Apollo and Listkits. They both have their benefits, and you'll find each one may be better for certain industries. But so I actually know agency owners who are running 200K a month businesses who solely use these data sources. So they're pretty good. People are getting brilliant results for their clients using these as their data sources. But what is, I guess, important to note is it can be seriously overwhelming when you first see, all the different options on show when you log into, let's say, Apollo in this screenshot here. But what I can't stress enough is that you need to try and use everything that's available here. Like, obviously, it doesn't need to be absolutely everything, but you're going to help make your list that little bit more targeted if you use more of them, and ultimately that's going to make your campaigns more impactful. It's I didn't really touch on it, but for me, when I onboard a client, and it's why we put such a focus on fleshing out our customers' ICP, essentially this is what's going to really translate and help us build those lists for you. by using as much of those filtering options as possible. I've found over the years a few tips when it comes to maybe targeting a more niche industry or specific job role. Rather than using the filter, I'd search with the keyword instead. And a hack I do once I had the ICP and persona, nailed down, I'd go on ChatGPT and explain the job role of the ICP, and then ask ChatGPT to list then all the keywords associated with the specific ICP, and that massively helps. What I do. Lastly, that I think this is an interesting one. This is a client I've recently. There are ways to interpret the data. This may seem obvious, but let me explain. So I had a client who was a venture capitalist looking to target auto aftercare businesses in the US. But one of the conditions they wanted is that these businesses be targeted had to have more than one site. So there isn't necessarily a filter giving us businesses that have more than one site. But so what we did was there was a yearly revenue filter. So we set that to a minimum of 5 million in revenue a year, and from that we can kind of make certain assumptions that any businesses that come under the auto aftercare bracket, if they're making more than $5 million a year, chances are they've got more than one site. But if anyone who doesn't know what I mean by auto aftercare, think tire repair, paintwork services, car services, it's those kind of businesses. So I've done a longer video on this. So I won't go into this in real detail, but setting up your campaign isn't as simple as just sending 500 emails a day from your work email with some sort of automation tool. You need to set up a tech stack that allows you to send this volume rather than, whilst avoiding, the dreaded spam folder. As a rule of thumb, you should never send more than 25 emails a day from a single inbox, and you can host 2 inboxes on one domain. So this is the equation. So 10 domains, 20 inboxes, and at 25 emails a day, that's going to give you a daily send volume of 500. And as you can see below, if you double all of that, that's then going to give you 1,000. You get the gist. And here's a quick graphic that shows what I'm talking about in more detail. I always think about it as like laying down the tracks before the train speeds through. A solid setup means your emails will hit harder, literally, as people will actually see them since they're hitting the primary inbox. So again, I'll run through this in more detail in another video, but essentially it's a fairly obvious one. You want to write emails that get people to take action. I bang on about this all the time on my Twitter, but you should never go for the sale via email. All you're selling is the call. Because remember, these people don't know who you are. You're suddenly going in trying to sell them X, Y, and Z. They're going to ignore you. People are busy. Time is money, much as a cliche that comment is, but it's true. As a rule of thumb, I never send an email that is more than 70 words. That's a maximum. So 50 is better, and that's usually the sweet spot we've found. We run 3 message sequences. Why do we do this? Well, because I'm a big believer. If people haven't replied after the 3rd email, chances are they're not interested in what you have to offer. And if you continue to bug them, you're just going to massively increase the chances of them reporting as spam, ultimately having the knock-on effect of affecting your domain authority. So keep it to 3. That's my advice. We've found that's been really effective for our clients. And yeah, don't forget to start off slow. And once you have the data of what's landing best and your different talking points of each sequence you run, you can then funnel through those emails and then increase the volume. Finally, the profit model. So we touched on this at the beginning, but this is the juicy part, how we make the money. So the campaign is now launched. You're getting a mixed bag of replies. You optimize for that, and then after a bit of back and forth, you get people to agree to meeting with you. But once those meetings start booking, you've essentially figured out a repeatable process you can apply again and again to other businesses. So I think this is always quite a good way of looking at it. So imagine charging $300 per meeting book, and you're sending 5,000 emails a month, and that's having a very, very slow month of booking meetings. And let's say again, you're booking meetings on average every 1,000 emails. That's still $1,500 a month, for that specific client, which is, actually a very good income. So I know if you're wondering what we guarantee, and this is a slight plug on my part, but I don't care. I'm going to be a shameless sale here, but we basically offer, we guarantee our clients between 5 and 10 meetings per month on a pay-per-call basis. So if you're interested in learning more about how we can help your business, please go on our website or drop me a message on here, and we'll have a meeting, and we can try and find out how we can actually help you. But anyway, that's all from me, and thank you so much for watching. Hopefully if you got this far, it's given you a little more understanding of what email lead generation is about and how it can be profitable business for anyone willing to put in the hard work. And I hope to see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.